Mars Cargo set up special team to handle the first vaccine shipment. Petronas contributes 1.79 trillion ringgit for country's development. Good evening. Thanks for joining us today. You're watching News in 10, and me, I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos. Well, the Enhanced Movement Control Order, EMCO, will be enforced at 10 residential areas around Jalan Teluk Ira Temerloh, Pahang for 2 weeks, starting from tomorrow. Well, according to Senior Minister for Security, Dato Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, the decision was made following the drastic increase in the number of positive cases, up to 72 infections involving the residents living in the locality. Well, Dato Seri Ismail Sabri in a statement explained that the EMCO, which will be implemented until 6 March, can help ease the process of targeted screenings on all of the residents and curb the spread of COVID-19 in the community. He also announced that the EMCO at Bandar Rao Perdana Pahang ends today, earlier than scheduled, on 25th February. Well, it said the government decided to lift the directive as the Health Ministry has confirmed that the COVID-19 situation at the respective locality is currently under control. Well, it said all of the close contacts and targeted groups among the residents have been identified, screened and isolated. A total of 287 individuals have undergone COVID-19 tests, of which only 3 people tested positive for the virus. Well, Mars Cargo, Sendiri and Berhado, Mars Cargo has formed a special team specially for the coordination process in receiving Malaysia's COVID-19 vaccine supply. Its Chief Operations Officer, Muhammad Zulkifli Ujang, said the team, which was set up 2 months ago, comprises 30 members who have expertise in vaccine management. Mars Cargo, which is the air cargo division of Malaysia Airlines Berhad, had been given the task to coordinate the responsibility of receiving the vaccine at Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA. Well, Malaysia will be receiving 312,390 doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine tomorrow, marking the first delivery to Malaysia under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program, which will be implemented in phases beginning 26 February. Well, the first phase of the program starts from February to April, involving frontline workers, followed by the second phase from April to August for the high-risk groups, namely senior citizens aged 60 and above, and vulnerable groups with morbidity problems, as well as the disabled. The third phase from May this year till February next year involves adults aged 18 and above. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin will receive his vaccine jab on the first day of the program implementation, along with the country's frontline workers. Muhammad Zulkifli said Mars Cargo's expertise in handling the vaccine has been recognized because it had been managing and receiving various types of vaccines on a daily basis. Tenaga Nasional Berhad, TNB, has made an early preparation to ensure electricity supply at vaccine storage centers and COVID-19 vaccination centers nationwide remain stable throughout the implementation period of the National Immunization Program. While Chief Distribution Network Officer Dato Insignor Baharin Din said discussions with the Health Ministry are currently being held to address the ministry's needs, especially those involving efforts to avoid supply disruptions at vaccine storage. Well, in a release statement, Dato Insignor Baharin said TNB is also drafting a contingency plan for rapid recovery of supply at several substations identified through the installation of a remote automation supply system. He added that TNB also conducts engagement sessions with hospitals and health clinics to ensure that their generator sets are functional and ready to operate if needed. Furthermore, its technical team will be on standby to ensure that immediate action can be taken in the event of any supply disruption at vaccine storage centers. Well, Malaysia will receive its first batch of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine starting tomorrow, followed by the first phase of the immunization program on 26 February. Well, a stable electricity supply is needed as the vaccine has to be stored at minus 70 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, the Malaysian Armed Forces, ATM, will provide coordination assistance in controlling the movement and logistics management of the COVID-19 vaccines, which will arrive in Malaysia, of course, tomorrow. And Chief of Defence Force General Tan Sri Effendi Buang, in a statement today, said the ATM would escort the vaccines movement from the vaccine storage centres, VSC, to the Vaccine Administration Centre, or VAC, throughout the country. And elaborating further on the matter, General Tan Sri Effendi said the ATM's representatives were also placed with the Secretariat at the national and state level to assist the Health Ministry and the COVID-19 Immunisation Task Force, or CITF, in planning the implementation of the immunisation program, especially in coordinating the logistics assistance at the VSC and VAC. He also said the immunization program could maintain ATM's capacity and preparedness in protecting the country's well-being and sovereignty, and ultimately achieve the herd immunity objective. Now, through the action plan, the vaccination process will be supervised in stages by ATM's Health Service Division. It comprises the strategy of selecting the eligible groups by taking into account the level of infection risk based on the assignment fields in areas where they are deployed. While the Chief of Defence added that it also includes the coordination of human resources and training of ATM's health personnel to ensure the management and vaccination process can be carried out efficiently. Well, having staff and inmates of elderly nursing homes vaccinated is important in preventing or reducing risk of COVID-19 infection in the country. Well, Deputy Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, MOSI, Dato' Ahmad Amzad Hashim, said the spread of virus infection in these nursing homes could occur very quickly, and it would be difficult to curb transmission if there is slow action.
Penjarakan fizikal, elakkan sentuhan.
Petugas kesihatan dan keselamatan yang berjuang dengan wabak ini mungkin tidak mampu untuk bertahan apabila terus-menerus dihujani dengan kes dan kluster penularan baru. Vaksinasi kaki tangan dan pengundi pusat jagaan wabak emas adalah satu-satu usaha mengurangkan risiko jangkitan COVID-19.
The minister further noted that staff and residents of elderly care nursing homes need to continue with their routine even when positive cases have been detected in the premises. As such, he said the government welcomes the cooperation of stakeholders in making staff and residents of these homes aware of the importance of getting the vaccination jabs.
At the care centres. And for the non-registered care centres,
Well, the number of active COVID-19 cases continues to drop as 4,082 patients were discharged after recovering from the deadly pandemic today, taking the cumulative recovered cases so far to 244,753. Now, the recoveries made are almost double than the 2,461 new infections detected in the last 24 hours. Well, according to Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, Selangor continues to report the highest number of new COVID-19 infections with 1,001, followed by 257 new cases detected in Kelantan and 233 in Johor. Now, this brings the total number of cases recorded since the pandemic hit the country to 280,272. Well, currently there are 34,468 active cases, where 207 patients being treated in the ICU, with 91 of them requiring ventilator support. The Health Ministry also reported 8 fatalities today, raising the death toll to 1,051. Meanwhile, 10 new clusters, are all related to workplaces, were discovered in Johor, Selangor, Perak, Sabah and Negeri Sembilan. Well, the act of mocking and ridiculing done by several social media users in criticizing the content delivery by a science teacher on education TV channel Didik TV is an act of cyberbullying. Communications and Multimedia Minister Dato' Saifuddin Abdullah stressed that members of the public should consider that the teacher was not a professional actor and may never have undergone training before the recording was made.
Ini perkara yang masih baru dimulakan, tentulah ada kelemahan di sana sini. Jadi pada saya, kita harus memahami kelemahan-kelemahan yang ada, dan saya yakin Kementerian Pendidikan tentu akan berusaha keras untuk memperbaiki keadaan dan memastikan produksi kandungan-kandungan yang lebih baik dari semasa ke semasa.
Dato Saifuddin then said the Communications and Multimedia Ministry, KKMM, is willing to assist the Education Ministry in preparing D-Day TV contents, adding that they can use the National Film Development Corporation Malaysia or FINAS's expertise for content production. The minister then reiterated KKMM's stand that an Anti-Cyberbullying Act must be tabled to combat cyberbullying. He explained that this is a serious issue and it could cause the victim to suffer from depression, which could then lead to a bigger problem, including causing victims to commit suicide. He added that KKMM is working on a cabinet paper to get an approval at the policy stage before tabling it in the Dewan Rakyat as soon as the parliament reconvene.
The Malaysia Digital Economy Blueprint My Digital reflects the country's preparedness in undertaking transformation by employing a whole-of-nation approach. Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, or MDEC Chief Executive Officer Surina Shukri said all components contained in My Digital would ensure that it will become the nation's new asset towards digital economy transformation, thus enabling the creation of various new opportunities, including digital investments. Well, commenting further in a statement release, Surina said My Digital is believed to be able to strengthen the country's digital foundation as well as infrastructure development. Considering that the growth of the digital economy depends on data, the initiative to develop hyperscale data centers with an estimated investment of 15 billion ringgit, which would increase room for innovation and private-public cooperation. She also said that the National Digital Network, Jendela, that is expected to enhance existing connectivity with a targeted 9 million premises by end 2025, would prepare the country towards the fifth-generation cellular technology, or known as 5G, soon. Subsequently, the 5G component will drive investments in new innovations through speed at which technology transfer is possible, thus creating more high-skilled job opportunities and make Malaysia one of the world's most competitive markets. Surina added that MDEC was also excited as My Digital gave a key focus on the small and medium enterprises and micro enterprises to transit to e-commerce, which is an important initiative implemented by the corporation all this time. Petroleum Nasional Berhad, Petronas, has contributed almost 1.2 trillion ringgit since 1976 in the spirit of giving out to the society, especially now when the country is grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic. The President and Group Chief Executive Officer Tengku Muhammad Taufik Tengku Aziz said the contributions included those to the federal government, state governments, tax collection and payment of oil royalty, and the rate would likely increase in the long run. And according to Tengku Muhammad Taufik, the National Oil Company also did not hold back on its continued commitment to put aside a portion for the National Trust Fund, or Kumpulan Wang Amanah Negara, KWAN, and put aside monetary contribution. He said Petronas has also supported the nation's aspirations and development through other means that include scholarships to deserving students. Tengku Muhammad Taufik said the National Oil Company was also committed to honouring its annual allocation of 100 million ringgit to Yayasan Petronas. The group's total contribution towards the COVID-19 efforts and initiatives stands close to 44 million ringgit. Given the unprecedented challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Petronas board had also approved an additional 10 billion ringgit dividend to its shareholders at the end of November 2020, on top of the 24 billion ringgit dividend payment, bringing the total dividend payout for the year to 34 billion ringgit. Well, 2 men died after they were involved in a car accident with another car and lorry at Jalan Bukit Pasir in Muar, Johor at about 7:56 a.m. today. Well, Muar Fire and Rescue Operations Commander Senior Fire Officer 1 Radin Hamimah Muhammad said both victims, aged 17 and 68, were flung out of their car and confirmed dead at the scene. In a statement today, Radin said a total of 23 fire and rescue personnel along with 2 fire engines and an ambulance were rushed to the scene. She said the other victims, comprising of 4 individuals who were in the other car, escaped the incident while the driver of the lorry suffered minor injuries. She added that both bodies of the victims and the lorry driver were later sent to Sultanah Fatimah Hospital in Muar. The rescue operation ended at about 10 a.m. But first, the local scene sees the Malaysian Football League, MFL, today had announced the long-awaited return of 2021 season of Malaysian League or M-League, along with match scheduled for Super League and Premier League for this season, which is set to kick off with a Charity Cup match on 5th of March.
The game to rest the Sultan Ahmad Shah Cup would pit the 2020 Super League champions Johor Darul Ta'zim and runners-up Kedah Darul Aman FC at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium in Iskandar Puteri, Johor Bahru. Simultaneously, among the matches of focus in the first week of the Super League competition is the Selangor FC and Seri Pahang FC face off at Petaling Jaya City Council Stadium on 6 March. The match between 2020 Premier League runners-up Terengganu FC 2 and the new team, the FEM MSN Project Squad at Sultan Ismail Nasiruddin Shah Stadium, Kuala Terengganu, is an interesting match in the first week of the 2021 Premier League, which also raises its curtain on 6 March. MFL, however, stressed that all the matches will be held without any audience or supporters. MFL Chief Executive Officer Dato' Abdul Ghani Hassan in a statement expressed his hope that all the teams will always maintain their compliance to the SOPs set. Previously, the government has already given green light for teams to hold centralized training program via bubble through 2 methods, namely home and camp quarantine.
And that concludes this evening's News at 10. Well, in our top story, Mars Cargo set up special team to handle COVID-19 shipment. Folks, join us again for more updates tomorrow at 12:30 afternoon. And Mohammed Amin Carlos will stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening. Bye for now.